Imagine a card. Not your bank card, not your passport, not your driver's license. Just one card, a master key to your life. You use it to prove who you are, access healthcare, open a bank account, pay your taxes, maybe even vote. Efficient, secure, logical. Or is it the final chain in the invisible cage we've all been walking into without noticing? Recently, the UK government has said it wants to bring back the national ID card. Some people are cheering, others are furious. But before you pick a side, let's ask the harder question. Does it even matter anymore? Welcome to Parallel, a mix of storytelling and thought-provoking what-if scenarios, combining narrative fiction and analysis that includes real-world science, philosophy, and potential real-world implications. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment so that you do not miss out on the next episode. Because, one reality, sasti boom, is never enough.
Every keystroke I type feels heavier than the last. I know exactly what this code does. Linking fingerprints, bank details, medical records, location history, all into one neat little profile. They call it progress, security, efficiency. I call it surrender. I've seen the contracts, the silent clauses, the pressure from agencies I can't even name. This isn't an ID card. It's a leash, and once it's tightened, no one escapes. Not even me. My face, my debts, my family, locked inside this machine I'm building. The thought won't leave me. One day they'll flip a switch and lives will vanish. Deny travel. Cancel wages. Silence voices with a line of code. And I'll have been the one who wrote it. Should I create a crack, a hidden backdoor? A way to torture it if? No. When? It's abused. That's treason. Maybe even suicide. But what's worse, betraying them or betraying everyone? I stare at the screen and wonder if history will remember me as the engineer who built the cage, or the ghost who left a key hidden in the lock.
Let's first look at the history of ID cards. ID cards aren't new. Britain introduced them in 1939 during the Second World War, originally for rationing, conscription, and tracking movement. They were scrapped in 1952. Hated for the way police demanded them on the street. Since then, every attempt to revive them has triggered fierce backlash. Elsewhere, the story is different. France and Germany have had mandatory ID cards for decades, woven into daily life with little resistance. In post-colonial states like India, national ID schemes were tools for building order, later expanding into vast biometric systems like Aadhaar. After 9/11, the US introduced the Real ID Act, a federal standard for state driver's licenses, effectively a national ID in all but name. The lesson is clear. ID cards emerge in moments of crisis, war, terror, economic upheaval, and once they're in place, they rarely vanish. The argument has never been about the card itself, but about who wields it and how much trust people are willing or forced to give. Opponents of the ID card say this is Big Brother made real, a surveillance state, a violation of freedom and privacy. Supporters fire back, grow up. Most countries already have one. Why should Britain be different? And here's the reality check. You already carry multiple forms of identification: a passport, a driver's license, a national insurance number. You hand over copies to your bank, to your employer, to the government. Isn't a card just consolidation? So why the outrage now? Why is this card the hill we want to die on? Especially when your phone already logs where you go, what you search, who you call, and even what you say when you think it's not listening. If the surveillance state is already here, is this really the thing that tips us over the edge? What's happening in the global mirror? Look abroad. In the United Arab Emirates, the Emirates ID is your lifeline. Without it, you cannot exist. In Saudi Arabia, the Absher app controls everything from visas to vehicle fines, from your travel to your families. In Germany, every citizen has an ID card and carries it daily. No one thinks twice. In India, Aadhaar is the largest biometric system in the world. Your fingerprints, your iris scans, your phone number, all linked into one database that touches everything from your bank account to your ration card. And then there's China. The ID card there is already linked into something bigger, the emerging social credit system. It's not just about proving who you are. It's about proving you're a good citizen. Pay your bills on time, follow the rules, praise the right things, and you earn trust points. Fall behind on debts, criticize the state, or even cross the wrong person. And suddenly your ID can lock you out of train tickets, flights, loans, even jobs. It's the ID card not as proof of existence, but as a scoreboard for obedience. Why do some nations surrender their identity data without protest, while others cry tyranny at the thought of it? Is this about culture? Or is it about who we trust to hold the master file? Yet, here we are, living with the illusion of privacy. Here's the really uncomfortable truth. You already live without privacy. In the United States, the PRISM program vacuumed up emails, photos, and chats from every major tech company. In Britain, GCHQ has a direct tap into the world's internet cables. Your phone knows when you wake up, how fast you drive, when you're stressed, even when you're intimate. Google and Meta know more about you than your own family. So what exactly are you protecting by rejecting a national ID card? Privacy. That battle ended years ago. The real fight is over who owns the leash. Government, Silicon Valley, or someone else entirely. There are winners here. Governments love efficiency. Law enforcement loves a database that links everything neatly together. Corporations love the ability to connect your financial, medical, and personal life into one monetizable package. But there are losers too. Marginalized communities, undocumented migrants, dissenters whose political views may one day be deemed unacceptable, and ordinary citizens who suddenly find themselves locked out of systems they rely on because of a single mistake, a glitch, or an accusation. Hackers and criminals won't disappear. They'll adapt. A single forged ID card could collapse entire systems. A single hack could spill every detail of your life in one hit. One card, one point of failure, and one colossal risk. What's the real debate here? Maybe the real debate isn't whether an ID card is good or bad. It's whether fragmentation is actually a hidden shield. A passport here, a license there, a number somewhere else. Messy, inconvenient, but harder to tie together. Is that fragmentation protecting us? Or is it just an outdated inefficiency begging to be swept away into one powerful card? Would you rather live with a Swiss Army knife identity, sleek, efficient, and universal, or live scattered across a dozen fragments that are harder to weaponize, but slower to use? It comes down to one choice: convenience or complexity. The fight over national ID cards isn't really about plastic or chips. It's about power. The power to decide where you can go, what you can access, who you can become. Governments promise efficiency, safety, order. Tech giants whisper convenience, personalization, seamless living. But underneath those words is the same reality. Whoever controls the ID controls the person. It isn't just Britain. From Beijing to Berlin, Riyadh to Washington, the march toward a single universal identity is already underway. Every swipe, every scan, every login is another brick in a cage that looks less like a prison and more like progress. And here's the darkest truth. The cage is already here. The card won't build it. It will only decide who holds the keys, who gets locked inside, and who gets left out in the cold. So the question isn't whether we accept an ID card. The question is whether we're willing to admit we've already given away the only thing that made us free, the right to remain unseen. Thank you so much for listening in to this episode of Parallel. If you have an idea for a future episode, drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel grow its audience. Until the next episode, remember, one reality is never enough.